You're tuned in to Rebooting Liberty.
Have you ever wanted to have your own radio show? Rebooting Liberty Radio Network currently has openings for live programs. For a very small fee, we will create a show intro, bumper music, and provide technical production for your hour-long show. Email producer@rebootingliberty.com for details. You can find us at live.rebootingliberty.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swab risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
That's enough fun. No, I didn't. I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone.
Hear me now, Sheriff?
Yes, I do.
All right, there we go. I have no idea sometimes what goes on with my configurations, all of a sudden changing them. But Sheriff Clarke, welcome to the Rod Eccles Show. It's an honor to speak with you tonight.
Ron, it's my pleasure. It really is.
Now, you have been making the news all year long for your law enforcement stance, and you're an African American, and a lot of people are surprised that you would take the stance that you do. But you're a gentleman that believes in the Constitution, are you not?
Wholeheartedly. It's a bedrock of our democratic society, and it is the foundation, if you will, of freedom and liberty here in the United States.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they just don't seem to quite understand that we have a bedrock or a system of laws based on the Constitution, and the Constitution is the law of the land. Now, sometimes you have been taken to task for because you're also in law enforcement, on your stance on private ownership of guns. Could you briefly explain your position on that?
Sure. It's the Second Amendment of the Constitution, as your listeners may know. The right to keep and bear arms, and the right to do that shall not be infringed. One of the hallmarks of the Founding Fathers, when they put together that document, they understood government tyranny, having lived under King George for many years, and they saw what happens when you're ruled by someone who believes in the rule of man instead of the rule of law. And so they inserted that in as a check for a number of things. One of them is on government tyranny, but also the firearm from the beginning of this country has been the staple, the hallmark of people to be able to gather food. There were hunter-gatherers at the time, to self-defense, that sort of thing. So, as time went on and decades and centuries moved on, it still remains, as far as I'm concerned, the most important aspect of the Bill of Rights, because it makes all the other ones possible.
Now, you have also been very vocal about a number of different things, including people's Second Amendment rights, but recently you've been very vocal about Black Lives Matter, and a lot of people around here, no matter what the hue of their skin tone is, they're not very much for, or at least here in New Hampshire, they're not backing Black Lives Matter. Now, you were not coming out for Black Lives Matter, were you?
No, as a matter of fact, polls that way nationwide. There's been several legitimate, valid polls. Rasmussen is one, Gallup is another, where an overwhelming majority of black people do not subscribe to the Black Lives Matter. They subscribe to the All Lives Matter. Look, that thing is a political construct. I called it that last December, nearly a year ago. I identified this group for what it is. It was a conglomeration of misfits. You had criminals involved in this. You had anarchists. You had cop haters. You had organized labor with SEIU, the Service Employees Union International, and then you had some leftover people from the Occupy movements. And as I saw these demonstrations, I started to point out some of the stuff that was going on. I saw people with T-shirts saying "Fund Planned Parenthood," which you may not know, but this is a fact that more black babies are aborted by Planned Parenthood than any other race. And so when I started looking at this, I said, this isn't about equality. This isn't about black lives, because many of the misfits in this movement support things like abortion. They say nothing about the black on black crime about the United States, which is a huge problem. Baltimore just recorded their 300th homicide the first time they've reached that number ever, and it's been decades. And you look across the United States here in Milwaukee, homicides are up about 75%. I'm talking about real numbers. We're up to about 130 versus like 79 last year. So these are significant figures that the Black Lives Matter, if they really believe in what they were spouting, they would be protesting, again, demonstrating against the black-on-black violence. They'd be protesting against abortion clinics, but instead they attack the police because it is a subversive group. They do advocate for the overthrow of the legally constituted government here in the United States. You've heard the chants, kill the pigs, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, and some other unmentionables that I can't say on the radio out of decency in terms of blank the police, so on and so forth. I saw one person holding a sign. It isn't just one out of thousands. I've seen this spattered throughout the group, which is why I called it a conglomeration. And it said, all my friends kill cops. So I looked at this and I said, this is not a protest movement. This is not about racial equality. This is a political construct designed to weaken the institution of policing in the United States.
Now, I find that to be well. Now, one of the things I've noticed about you is that you are in Wisconsin. Now, you're not too far from one of our nation's murder capitals of Chicago. Now, how are you able to keep that type of illegality from happening in your county and in the city of Milwaukee?
Well, you can't, and we don't. And some of it is seeping up. That's probably why we're seeing the spike that we have. It's only 80 miles away, and it's on I-94, major thoroughfare. It takes you about maybe an hour and 5 minutes to get from downtown Milwaukee to downtown to Chicago, so you can see the proximity. We're a mobile society now, people moving back and forth. And, violence, crime is like water. It seeks its own level. You don't contain it. So, if we were seeing this in just one or two cities, you could say, yeah, it might be an anomaly, and it might need further study. But this is happening in every great American city in America, where you have the American ghetto firmly rooted. You have high poverty. You have massive black unemployment. You have failing schools. You have a dysfunctional family structure, kids born out of wedlock in huge numbers, 72%. Father-absent homes. Fathers matter in the raising of children. You see drug and alcohol abuse. You see gang involvement. You see questionable lifestyle behaviors. You put all those together. Those aren't causes, but those are the ingredients where crime and violence is going to thrive. So that's what you're seeing. And these are the reason why these American ghettos exist is because every one of these cities has been run by liberal Democrat politicians. It is failed liberal policies that have led to the rise of the American ghetto because they don't rely on people being self-sustaining, self-sufficient. It's government dependency. It has destroyed motivation, people not staying consistently in the workforce, so on and so forth. That's what's going on. Look, I'm a native of Milwaukee. I've been here my whole life. I've been in law enforcement for 38 years. I've seen this thing grow. I've seen it worsen. I've been calling this. I wasn't in a position as an elected sheriff. Didn't have the platform like I'm using yours tonight to get this out, but I saw it. I've been talking about it. I've been studying it. And there should be no surprise to anybody that we're witnessing what we are today in these great American cities.
Yeah. Now, again, you're in that sphere of area like Detroit, and then you have Chicago, which is very near to you, and there's nothing but violence that is going up. Murder is through the roof in those particular areas. However, Detroit has their police commissioner has taken a pro-private gun ownership stance, as you have. Rightfully so. But what I'm seeing is that you're getting a backlash from certain black groups and from the president himself. But you've called out the president a number of times on his stance and what's happening in the president's home city of Chicago. What do you have to say about Obama not and Hillary coming up trying to take guns away from law-abiding citizens?
Yeah, and that's the goal. It's not about gun control. It's not about violence reduction. Their overall goal is gun confiscation. What they're trying to do is weaken gun-owning groups, gun ownership, frustrate gun owners in their attempts to obtain a firearm. As a matter of fact, I was picking up a M&P 15 this week, Smith & Wesson semi-automatic rifle, and I had to go in and do the background check, even though I'm the sheriff. The rules are applied to everybody, and I went in and they conducted this, what they call an instant background check, and I was told, this was last Saturday, I was told it was delayed because of a backlog, and that they couldn't release this firearm to me until sometime next week. So, I looked at that and I said, my gosh, we don't need to tighten the background checks. We don't need a further restriction on people's ability to quickly exercise their constitutional right of possessing and owning a firearm. We have enough in place. This is a ruse by the President of the United States and by Hillary Clinton to disarm America. And they know in order to do that, they have to weaken organizations like the National Rifle Association, Gun Owners of America, United States Concealed Carry Association, because those are the groups that have organized this effort to push back against this federal government's their attempt to disarm America.
Now, you obviously, as you said, you've been in law enforcement for nearly 40 years now, and you've been sheriff there since 2002, correct?
That's correct. I was 24 years with the City of Milwaukee Police, so I've experience in urban policing. Rose through the ranks of the Milwaukee Police Department to a command level, variety of experiences. I worked uniform patrol, answering calls for service, 911 calls for about a decade, got into investigations, investigated homicides, robbery, violent crime, that sort of thing, then got into management, and I supervised those investigations, criminal investigations, and then I became a command officer and commanded 3 areas in the Milwaukee Police Department. I was a commander of the Intelligence Bureau Division, I should say, the crimes against property in the Detective Bureau. Excuse me, that'd be like arson, burglary, auto theft. And then I was a commanding officer of the downtown district in the city of Milwaukee. So I come with a wide range of experience. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice management. I have a master's degree I completed recently from the United States Naval Academy postgraduate school in Monterey, California, at the Center for Homeland Defense and Security. So I have the experience. I've seen a lot. I don't tell people that I've seen it all, and I don't think I know it all. But I really bristle when people who have never done this job, Ron, they've never walked in a law enforcement officer's shoes. They want to talk about how it's so easy and the cops should do this and why didn't he do that. I bristle at that because I've been there and I've watched officers go through these things. I've had to investigate them. These officers are doing the best they can under some untenable situations. They're sent into these American ghettos to help good law-abiding black people live some sort of a safe life. And when something goes tragically wrong, which it can in our world, because we don't live in a linear world, our world is asymmetrical. Sometimes things go tragically wrong, and when they do, it's easy to second guess. I'm not going to allow people to do that. If we mess up, if we make a mistake, I'll be the first one with corrective action and that sort of thing. I don't cover anything up. But gosh darn it, when a cop goes out and he or she puts their best foot forward and things just didn't go right, I'm going to apply the rule of law. And if the rule of law says that the shooting was justifiable and reasonable, well, I'm going to fight for those cops. I don't care where they work, anywhere in the United States.
Now, master's degree is very impressive because a lot of people, they accuse our police officers of being ignorant and just one step above mall cops. And I know a lot of police officers do have advanced degrees like bachelor's degrees.
You know, what's interesting is our police officers, the American police officer today, in the 21st century, is more educated, better trained than and more professional than at any time in our history. There was a time back in the 50s and 60s we weren't real professional. We did engage in some behaviors and tactics long before I got into policing, but this institution did engage in some things that were very distasteful to American society. Well, guess what? We corrected that. We made this right. We're more professional. We're guided by the Constitution. We do extensive background checks on people to make sure that the people we invite into this fraternity, if you will, this brotherhood, this sisterhood, are a good fit, Sometimes it's a best guess and it doesn't turn out, but when it doesn't, it's my job as the chief executive to find those individuals that are a red flag and to root them out of this profession because they're not a good fit.
Now, with that, you were awarded Sheriff of the Year back in 2013.
Yeah, and I'm humbled by that. The Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association named me Sheriff of the Year. I'll tell you what, when you're recognized by your peers, there is no greater honor than to have that happen. That's the Constitutional Sheriffs Association. I am a constitutional sheriff. And like I said, when we started out this conversation, that Constitution means everything to me. I took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. I had one hand on a Bible, my right hand in the air, and I said, I swear that I will defend and support the Constitution of the United States. And at the end of my oath, I said, so help me God. And Ron, I meant it.
Now, with that, you are currently embroiled with battle for funding of your department because there's somebody in your county that doesn't like that you're actually practicing the First Amendment of expressing yourself.
Yeah, isn't that something? First Amendment protection. I'm entitled to my own free speech and freedom to express myself under the First Amendment. And I've been doing that. And we have a county executive here who's very anti-police. He does not like the police. He's one of these advocates for opening up the jails and the prisons and letting career and hardened criminals back into the American ghetto. He's soft on crime. And so he takes it out on the people by slashing my budget. But I have a duty and responsibility to protect the people in Milwaukee County. And if that means I have to run a deficit like I had to last year, excuse me, in order to protect these people, the good people here in Milwaukee County, well, that's what I'm going to have to do. And the test for that is at election time. I faced election last year. The same county executive, Chris Abley, spent $263,000 of his personal wealth to throw at my opponent and to try to defeat me in last year's election. We overcame that because the people in Milwaukee County know my heart's in the right place. They know that I will put their safety second to nothing in this county. They reelected me by an 80-20, nearly 80-20, 79-21 in the general election in November. And that didn't sit well with him. And so he's still fighting that war that he lost last November. So he takes it out on my budget, my officers. He's laid deputies off. He's laid command staff people off. He's cut this budget. He continues to do it. But I do have an ally in the county board who has overridden a lot of his dangerous decisions that are nothing more than vindictiveness and very vengeful. I tell you, the guy, I've never met a more dishonest politician in my life.
That is, they're through all throughout, Sheriff. They're there was somebody that listener wanted me to mention something about you, and I happen to agree. I like your cowboy hat. Now, I do. That's a sharp hat. Where did this is on the lighter side, I know, but where did you get that?
That's okay. We can have some fun. I'm a horseman, actually. I own my own horse. I'm around horses a lot. I love equines and do a lot of work with horses, and so that kind of goes with it. Jeans, boots, hat. So it's more about me being a horseman. But gosh, I have probably about 10 different hats, different makers. I have Stetsons. I have Charlie One Horse. I have Biltmore, and a number of other brands. But the one you might be talking about is a Charlie One Horse. And the name of that hat is Packing Heat. That's my favorite. It's the Cadillac of the fleet.
Excuse me, Packing Heat. Now, I love the name of that one. Now, you said that you were born and raised in Milwaukee. How did Now, I'm a military brat, so I come from all over. My father served 21 plus years in the United States. I'm an Air Force brat, and we once were stationed up in northern Michigan, just outside of Marquette, so I'm pretty familiar with that area. How did your parents get to come to Milwaukee? And
Well, my mom is originally from Milwaukee. My dad, my dad is from Beloit, Wisconsin, about 70 miles to the west of the city of Milwaukee. And my dad served in the United States Army. He was a airborne ranger, and so he tabbed out and he fought in Korea. He had numerous combat jumps under fire, survived that experience, and when he got done honorably discharged, he came up 70 miles to the east of Milwaukee, met my mom, dad. They got married and decided to stay here, and had a family, raised us kids to the best of their ability without a lot. You know, my mom and dad never had a lot of money, but they poured a lot of love and attention into raising their kids, and they knew. And they used to tell me this all the time, Ron. You know, this is going to be a very unfair world. You'll have to be doubly prepared to deal with it and to succeed. And they would not let us make excuses. They would not let the fact that we were black growing up in, we're talking the 60s and 70s yet when I was a kid. There were still some remnants of discrimination around, but they would not allow us to use it as an excuse. My dad taught me to believe in myself and not let other people's thoughts about me become my own. They stressed so much education. My mom and dad didn't go to college, but they knew that their kids were going to have to, and worked and pushed and prodded. There were probably some tearful times, during there, and then some rebellion by us, like any kid will do. But, they did the best that they could with what they had to raise their kids. And my mom and dad are still with me today. They're both in their mid-80s. God bless them, and I love them very much. And I think it puts a smile on their face to see that, what I made of myself with their guidance, with their supervision. I'm a product of a two-parent family. I know more than anybody the importance of a dad in somebody's life. Dads are responsible for the socialization of young boys. I had that mentor. I had that role model. My dad was very disciplined. He got it in the military, in the Army, and so he raised me to be very disciplined. And so I know what that means, and to see so many young black kids today growing up without a father and the devastating effect that it's had on not having that male role model, I think it's very sad.
Well, they have raised a wonderful son who's gone on to be a very educated man and the top law enforcement officer in his county. That is a wonderful thing. My parents have always said the same thing. You can do and be whatever you want, and don't let anybody else keep you down. Well, I know that you have to run, Sheriff, and we're getting close to a break, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join me here this evening so my listeners can get a chance to understand who David Clarke is, Sheriff of Milwaukee County is. Thank you again. Hopefully we'll get to do this again soon.
Sure, it's my pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity, and God bless you. People can follow me on Twitter at Sheriff Clarke, Clarke.
Okay, do you have a Facebook page?
No Facebook. Twitter's enough.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Sheriff. Have a great night.
You too now.
We'll be right back, folks.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washing washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
Ecclesiastites. That was the previous call was Sheriff David Clarke from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Well, there's a little bit of a hiccup at the start, and as I was talking to the sheriff, I'm looking at all this stuff that I have on my computers, and all of a sudden, as I'm talking, I realize something. I realized that my voice that you're listening to kept on going in and out. So while I was talking to the sheriff, I did something with it, and I realized my main problem here, my microphone is going bad. And that is why it's got me going in and out, and somehow it feeds back and it's kicking off in the system. So a person, because it goes through the same system that the calls go through, so you can hear it. So they both go through the same area, if you will, on the computer. And there's something with the mic that is interfering with that, and it keeps going in and out and raising and lowering the volume all by itself. And all. So I think it's time for that the Bunkerized home studio gets a brand new Freedom mic. Look, if I didn't have this, some of this free, some of the software that allows me to monitor what's actually going on that you're hearing, because I didn't have this a couple of weeks ago, but so we're becoming more and more professional here, at least trying to here on the Rod Eccles Show. We're upping our game every day. So now we see that one of the problems that we're having is with the microphone. So we will, as soon as this show is over this evening, I will be looking to order a brand new mic, and we'll get it here post-haste. So hopefully by the time the show airs beginning next week, heading into the Thanksgiving holiday, we'll have a brand new Freedom microphone here in the Bunkerized home studio. So until then, you're going to have to try to bear with me and the odd levels up and down, that type of thing. So because I'm talking directly into the mic, so it's not me that's not doing this thing, not doing it right. So you're only as good as the equipment that you have. No matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if it's, radio or if it's sports or if it's law enforcement. You're only as good as your equipment. Most of us are not MacGyver. So there, and I know there are people out there who have no idea who MacGyver is. One of the things that I wanted to ask the sheriff that we didn't have enough time for is about this ISIS and Syrian refugees. Now, state of Wisconsin, Scott Walker has said that he's not going to accept any more Syrian refugees, period. That he's not going to allow them. Now, early today, there was, liberals are trying to justify. I cannot understand this for the life of me. I can never quite understand this. Why everything bad in the world. Now, liberals, they attribute everything bad in the world. Now, let me be clear. Liberals attribute everything that is bad in the world as the fault of the United States of America. Now, this hatred that Muslims or Islamists have for America and the Western world and the Eastern world, basically non-Muslim world, is the fault of America, according to these liberals. They're not paying attention to the very fact that ever since Islam was birthed and started, it was a violent religion bent on world domination, and that everybody must either convert to Islam or die. Now, if you want to talk about, well, hey, I guess everything that happened, prior to 1776 is still the fault of America, according to these idiotic, stupid jackasses of liberals. What happened in Paris is not the fault of the United States of America. What happened in Paris is not the fault of the French. The French didn't pull the trigger. The USA didn't pull the trigger. It was radical Islam that went to another country that they had no business being in. They went to another country and decided to shoot up somebody else's country. If they want their freaking religion, they can stay where they are. We're not trying to disperse, well, our president's trying to disperse them all over the planet. But we're not actually trying to disperse them and get them to leave the Middle East. We want them to be able to live in the Middle East in peace. Sure, we might want some oil, but hey, the United States and most of our allies wouldn't need that oil from the Middle East if the stupid liberals in this country would allow us to get our own natural resources. What part of that do they not understand? Oh, they fully understand it. Make no mistake about it. Do not doubt me. They understand it. They just don't want us to have it. I mean, hell, you've got this thing now that, you know, where Speaker Paul Ryan is calling for a pause on the refugee importation here in this country, and the Democrats are busy trying to set this up for a government shutdown battle. You know what I say? I say, for crying out loud, it's about time that the Republicans got some big brass kahunas and went all in. Because right now, the Dems are on the wrong side. The Democrats are on the wrong side. The American people, the vast majority of American people, do not want any more Islamic or Syrian immigration into this country. We don't care how. Hell, we don't even care if they're 5 years old. We do not want any more. Period. So if the Democrats want to set this up as a shutdown battle, go right ahead, because guess who's going to lose on that one? And the Republicans better not wimp and back down. They better stand up, because the American people will back up the Republicans Now, let me remind the Republicans of something. Since 2010, the American voters all across this country have turned out more than 1,300 Democrats. Do you understand me? Do you hear me? The American people all over the country have voted out more than 1,300 Democrats at all levels of government. In other words, the American people are saying, Republicans, GOP, that they want conservative thought, they want conservative governance. They want this country protected. They want their lives, their neighborhoods, their families protected. They don't want to have to worry about going to some concert and then not coming home because you let some jihadist in here because his family was in refugee status. They got a gun, an AK-47, and shot up the concert hall. Let me tell you, if that happens, you politicians in this country that are already elected, that allow it to happen, you are done. Oh, no. Don't even think about that you're going to go and retire and be some sort of powerful lobbyist or something. You won't make it. I'm telling you right now, the militias in this country, the American people, the constitutionalists, they are going to hang you. Because this is something that you have been warned about, told about. You know what the American people are about and where they stand on this. They don't want it. And if you let it happen, there is no place in this country where you are going to be safe. I'm telling you right now, I'm not the one that's threatening you. I'm telling you the American people are not going to stand for this. They're not going to stand for a Paris to happen in this country. They are not going to stand for another 9/11/2001 in this country. Do you understand that, GOP? Look, if this were 20 years ago, the American people might be in a little different mindset. But this has been going on since 2001 at the minimum. But was it 93 when we had the first attack on the World Trade Center? And we sort of nothing really happened, but, we'll catch him, blah, blah, blah. So we caught the sheikh that was responsible and all that kind of stuff. We Americans went about and then 2001 hit. And the entire world for Americans changed. And ever since then, we have been in this dynamic mode of terroristic threats all over the country, including in this country. We've had terrorism in this country since 2001. Well, was it the most recent successful terrorist act was the Boston Marathon bombing a couple of years ago? Oh, no. And now we're seeing Paris. they had open borders allowing these people to come in. They were saying, come on, you can have fun here. You can live here, live in peace. We'll even give you some towns and enclaves. You can have Sharia law and Sharia courts. We can live in peace. We won't bother you. And then they did this to Paris. And a socialist president shut the borders and said no more. And now that same president is saying he is begging Putin and Obama, the United States and Russia, to team up, to cooperate and wipe ISIS out. The American people have turned out Democrats. The Democrats have lost more than 1,300 seats from local to federal level since 2010. 1,300. And you GOPers want to tell us, the American people, that we're too extreme? Oh, hell no, we're not. We're telling you what we want. We don't want Black Lives Matter because that's a farce. This whole notion that these stupid, idiotic, wimpy, mamby-pamby, spoiled brat college students need a freaking safe space. Well, let me tell you something. If you get Al-Qaeda or ISIS or ISIL or Taliban or whoever the hell they want to call themselves in this country, there won't be a safe space, not even on college campus. In fact, they'll come for you stupid, idiotic liberals first. And if you don't believe me, what do you think they just did to the French? If you're a liberal, you need to wake up. And if you're a Republican, if you are a GOPer, you better wake up, because the American people have been telling you since 2010 what they have wanted, and you haven't delivered. So Representative, Speaker Paul Ryan, you better be paying attention to these people. Hell, even my Democratic governor gets the point. He's joined, 26, 27 Republican governors who are saying that they don't want any more Syrian refugees? Oh, yeah. Maggie, I know she's going to be running against Kelly Ayotte for the Senate seat that Miss Ayotte, Senator Ayotte, currently holds in 2016. I get that. But she understands. Look, she's pandering to the right, because she knows what the right wants. And she's going to need some of their votes in order to take the seat away from Kelly Ayotte. So understand, you have a Democratic governor who's seeking another elected office in a still relatively conservative state. She understands that she understands what the Republicans, what conservatives, what constitutionalists want. So she understands that she's going to have to make a stance against this with all the Republican governors if she has any chance of getting that seat of Kelly Ayotte's. So you Republicans in Congress, look to New England in order to see a Democratic governor of a purple state understand what the Republicans want. We want this immigration nonsense stopped. We want the president put in check. We want the borders closed. We want our military strengthened. We want our law enforcement agencies in this country to get the due respect and understand that they need the proper funding, one, to vet the personnel that they're trying to hire, to make sure all these people are well trained, and to make sure that they have the proper equipment to do their job properly and safely. And let me tell you something. When you start vetting them properly, and you start training them properly, and you start giving them the equipment that they need in order to do their job, you're gonna drop 75% of all this bad cop crap. Because the bad cops will weed themselves out. Plain and simple. Now, I want people to fully understand, because I'm getting tired of having to explain this about my position on police officers. I'm so over explaining to people. So pay attention. I am a constitutionalist and a law and order type of guy. I believe that in this country we have made a mistake going from upholding the law to enforcing the law by adding so many damn laws that nearly every interaction that the police have with the general public is negative because we have too many laws. And my point is that whenever the police are in an area or at a time, when you say a festival or the King Pumpkin Festival or open Main Street, Main Street, they have parades and stuff, and you see people talking and joking and having fun with police officers, believe me, most cops like that interaction too. They do not like always being negatively impacted by society. They don't like having to always deal negatively with society. Granted, you have a vast minority who get on a power trip. They can be weeded out. The vast majority are not like that. They are trying to uphold the law, but a lot of times they're being forced to enforce the law if they're going to keep their job. Which is why you might get pulled over for having your license plate light out while a cop cruiser drives by with a headlight out. Because they have to try to find anything and everything that is wrong with your vehicle to enforce the law so they can give you a ticket. They're being pushed into being revenue generators. That's not their job. That's not what they were designed to do. The cops were designed to investigate real crime and to catch the bad guys who committed the real crime and to make sure that they stood trial. That's their job. And these guys need all the help, and girls, they need all the help that they can possibly get to do that job, which means they need fewer laws to enforce. And in order to get fewer laws, we have to have people in elected office who are going to repeal a lot of these stupid, redundant, ridiculous, liberty-stealing laws. You want to tell me that a police officer enforcing a seatbelt law is protecting society? But no, he's not. He's raising revenue for the state. They've just turned police officers into something like IRS agents. They're revenue generators. And that, my friends, is going to lead to negative interactions with otherwise law-abiding citizens. People are frustrated because they're being forced to obey all these stupid, ridiculous laws that have nothing to do with public safety, while our senior officials in Washington, D.C. and in state capitals all across this country are ignoring the main law called the Constitution, letting our borders stay open, letting potential criminals and terrorists into this country, and then admonishing the American people when we say we've had enough and don't want them anymore. And then lecturing us as to what the American people should be doing. No. They got it backwards. They got it so backwards. You see, the government is not to be lecturing the people. The people is to be lecturing the government, because this is government by the people, of the people, for the people. Plain and simple. Always has been, always should be. So let me be clear again. I am a law and order type of person. I believe in upholding the law. I do not believe in enforcing it. Two different things. I believe in sticking to the Constitution, the supreme law of the land, and then your state's individual constitution. And if a law does not protect society, seatbelt laws do not, then it should be judged as being unconstitutional and struck from the books. And police officers should not have to worry about ever enforcing that law again. Let me tell you something. If you bring in these Syrians or any other Middle Eastern refugees, I'm telling you right now, there will be blood on the streets of America, and it is going to be Americans exacting their flesh. Because they're not going to stand for their neighborhood, their children, their grandchildren to be endangered when it could be so easily prevented. Telling you what's going to happen. It will not be pretty. And you know what? If you don't listen to me, GOP, if you're not listening to the American people, and you guys get voted out and we get a Democrat as president, it's going to be your fault.
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network. Compelling and entertaining talk. Don't touch that dial.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Fastest 2 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. I am your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call this evening is toll-free, 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. As we move right along, don't forget, well, you know, we're coming up on the holidays very, very quickly. Next week is, you can believe it, is Thanksgiving 2015. And we'll be doing, you're going to want to listen on the Thanksgiving break, that Thursday and Friday, because We're thinking about going way back in the archives and pulling some stuff out from Blog Talk Radio, possibly. And it's fun stuff. You know, it's just fun stuff. And it really shows you that I haven't changed at all. I'm still the same stubborn jackass conservative that I've always been. And that's okay. I'm consistent. I'm not going to deny it. I like being that way. So I'll stay that way. I like me. You know, what is that? What is that Saturday Night Live? I'm worthy and I'm fun and darn, I like me. Oh yeah, we'll go back into and pull some good stuff out, and well, we only go back to 2009, so it's all post Obama. So you can hear me. Maybe I'll pick something out and where you can hear, or maybe I'll find the episode that has the original broadcast of the Battleship rant. That would be a lot of fun if I could dig that up and find that. If you haven't heard that, and you got to go to rodeccles.net. It's on the the very front page. You could see it up there in the pictures that slide across. I don't know what they call that in technical terms, but the pictures that are up there on the first page, homepage. You can flip through them and you'll see where it says rant, epic rant. My famous epic rant. People were after I did that. That was not a planned rant, by the way. That was a complete off-the-cuff rant. And people talked about that rant for a few months after I did it. So that's how it became the famous Battleship rant. So you need to go over there and again, it's unfortunately the sound quality is from Blog Talk Radio. It's my BTR days, so you're just going to have to get through sound quality issues. But you'll notice that if we put up some BTR shows next week. So be here for Thursday and Friday for a couple of those. That's probably what you're going to get some of that over December too, because yours truly is taking a small, brief respite or vacation in the early parts of December. I'm going to have some fun. If we're still allowed to have fun. But, you know, the holiday's coming up. So I know all of you guys will be in a turkey coma on Thursday, but in watching football. But you're going to want to take a gander and take a listen at the extended holiday. Hopefully it won't be too cold. Hopefully. National Weather Service official. This is from Hot Air. This is why I say that people are American people are we're beyond fed up. These people are criminals. And they think that they're getting away with it. You know, let me say something about all of our wonderful officials. Elected and appointed. You know, all throughout history, there were government officials who thought that they could get away with doing certain stuff, and by oppressing the citizenry, and by scamming the citizenry, and by cheating the citizenry, and by stealing from the citizenry. And quite often, not in movies, but in history, we find that citizens, in the end, quite often, get the best of those corrupt officials. And it's not, do you really want to be in a position where you have a bunch of citizens who are trying to get the best of you if you're an elected or appointed government official right now? Well, here's one that seems to be arrogant enough, like Obama, that thinks that he can get away with some shenanigans. National Weather Service official creates a new job for himself and gives himself a very nice raise. A senior National Weather Service official helped write the job description and set the salary for his own post-retirement consulting post. Then came back to the office during doing the same job with a $43,000 raise, the agency's watchdog found. So in other words, when the guy was doing the job, he helped write the description for the job, which is just like the job that he was doing. And then he retired. And then came back as a consultant with a $43,000 raise over doing the same work that he did when he was there full time. Now, the deputy chief financial officer also demanded that he be paid a $50,000 housing allowance near Weather Service headquarters in downtown Silver Spring in violation of government rules for contractors. Don't pay their housing. $50,000 housing allowance. This is just one of numerous improprieties in a revolving door deal sealed with full knowledge of senior agency leaders, according to an investigation by the Commerce Department Inspector General's office. So here's the basis. Let me break it down for you. Here to 411. Let me break it down for you. Got a guy, National Weather Service, doing a particular job at the National Weather. That's a full-time job, regular job at the National Weather Service. He's getting closer to retirement. So he decides that he's going to assist in writing a job description for a new consulting position that the weather service is going to need. And then he's going to help them determine the salary for that position, that consultancy. And then he goes ahead and retires. Now, you're probably saying, well, it's all fine and dandy, fine and good for now. But then he comes back and says, you know what? I'm going to take that consultant job because it's going to pay me $43,000 more than my old salary. And you're going to give me a $50,000 housing allowance. Well, who the hell is going to say no to that? Who is going to say no to that? You know, $43,000 raise, plus he's getting, a couple of years at least, depending on what kind of house he buys. 2 to 5 years, or maybe I don't know where the National Weather headquarters. Where's Silver Spring? In any case, that's a couple years house payments, buying a house, or even if he's renting. Because paying $2,000 a month. That's about $24,000 to $24,000 a year. So 2 years, you get $50,000. A 2-year housing allowance. Housing paid for 2 years. How's that? Now, the the office employed personnel classified as criminal investigators. The office employed personnel classified as criminal investigators, even though their primary duties have not been criminal investigators, said a report by Homeland Security Inspector General. These employees receive premium pay and other costly benefits, although other employees were able to perform the same work at lower cost. And this was at where? Yes, the TSA. All of our government agencies seem to be pulling tricks like this in one fashion or another. You'll recall that the TSA was found to have given a huge swath of its employees a raise worth a total of more than $17.5 million per year just by changing all of their titles. Now, the Inspector General said that the extra salaries could cost taxpayers $17.5 million over 5 years in salary alone for all 124 of the TSA's criminal investigators. The Inspector General did not calculate the additional cost of the benefits for those employees. In other words, the office employed personnel classified as criminal investigators, even though their primary duties may not have been criminal investigators. These shenanigans keep going on and on and on and on, as they say down in New York. Shenanigans are going on, man. They're going on and on. They say down here in Boston, they got shenanigans going on down here. We got to stop all that shenanigans. And they're probably driving Cadillacs and Subarus and parking them in the Boston Garden. Okay, you got to stop all these shenanigans. Of course, you got Obama up there saying, hey, I've been playing golf. I don't know who's been doing what. So, it's just the way it is, right? I don't know. I don't know anything because I'm playing golf. Speaking of that, yeah, Obama's been playing golf, all right. He's been playing a lot of golf. A lot of golf. President goes around playing golf. Might as well call him the chief golf officer. Yeah, I made that up. Golf officer, get it? Chief. Commander-in-chief, golfer-in-chief, that type of thing. Y'all don't have a sense of humor. I don't hear laughter out there. Need to hear some laughter. But in any case, president here. This is a CNSnews.com story. This is the taxpayers tab for Obama golf vacation in daughter's New York City trip. I think that's the trip where Malia got the pictures taken of her that the president is out there saying needs to be investigated. Information obtained by the government watchdog group Judicial Watch shows that the Obamas spent, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? No, y'all, you're not ready for this. You better be sitting down. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to find a seat. 5, 2, 1. If you're not sitting down by now, it's not my fault. Because you're probably going to fall over and hit your head on something if you're standing up. So it's not my fault. Information obtained by the government watchdog group Judicial Watch shows that the Obamas spent $3,100,000 in taxpayer money for travel expenses on two trips and a one-day visit to New York City in 2015. Judicial Watch filed a Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA, or FOIA, request with the U.S. Department of the Air Force to obtain the travel cost of those trips. On June 20, Obama took Air Force One to Palm Springs, California, which required 10.6 hours of flying time at a cost of $337 per hour. $206,337 per hour. The flight and return cost over $2 million. During that outing, Obama played golf with Oracle billionaire Larry Ellison on Ellison's 249-acre Porcupine Creek estate. Obama also reportedly did some fundraising and gave a speech to the U.S. Conference of Mayors while in Florida on this $2 million plane trip. How would you like to have a plane ticket that cost you $2 million? I don't know. Now, on July 18th, Judicial Watch says Obama went to New York City with his two daughters and several of their friends. That flight on Air Force One was 1.5 hours long and cost over the same amount, $206,337 per hour. So the cost was, nearly $310,000 to taxpayers. In New York City, Obama and his girls attended the Broadway musical Hamilton. 3 days later, Obama flew back to the Big Apple to appear on Jon Stewart's The Daily Show and speak at a Democratic fundraiser. That was Obama's 7th appearance on The Daily Show, reported Judicial Watch. That trip. And on August 7th, the Obama family flew on Air Force One to Martha's Vineyard for a summer vacation. Flight time was 3 hours. Same cost per hour. Cost $619,000 to fly to Martha's Vineyard. At the Vineyard, Obama played golf with Bill Clinton and World Bank President Jim Young Kim. Yes, World Bank President Jim Young Kim, as well as Democratic advisor Vernon Jordan. The Obamas stayed at the same house they rented in the past, the Blue Heron Farm, which rents for $50,000. As for the security cost for all three trips, the Secret Service has not provided the numbers yet, but Judicial Watch. To date, the total known expenses for travel of the Obamas and Bidens are currently over $70.5 million. $70.5 million. Yes, I know. Say that again. $70.5 million. Go ahead, cue the evil laugh. Get an evil laugh. I should get a laugh track. Look, we're paying for this, folks. Out of our pockets. It's called taxpayer money. Well, if you're not I guess if you're not a taxpayer, you're not paying, but you are paying. You're still paying. You're paying through the nose, paying out the you-know-what, paying up the you-know-what, the wazoo. And then you got to worry about paying for your own vacations and your own trips. You want to talk about the ultimate first class? That's Air Force One. Basically $206,000 an hour. Think about that. So if you just want to round it down, $200,000 an hour to fly, operate Force One. So if you go on a 5-hour trip to California, that's $1 million one-way ticket. Right? 5 hours, 200,000, that's $1 million. That's a $2 million round trip. Now, I don't know about you. I've been to California, and it ain't worth $2 million. The plane ticket ain't worth $2 million. Sorry. Not. Just saying. Now, granted, I didn't sit in first class, but even a first class ticket on United Airlines isn't going to cost me $2 million for a round trip. Not even going to cost you. And I don't think anybody else around the country, private jets. I don't think Donald Trump spends $2 million to fly out to California in his private jets. I mean, this is insanity that we're spending this kind of money often on this guy. That he's having more fun playing president than actually being president. I'm the president. I can do what I want. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. I'm just going to go over here, play some more golf. Maybe later we'll have a little bit of a basketball. We'll have a pickup game. I'll win. I know. I always win. Folks, we're being ripped off, and they're using the legality of being a president as the way to rip us off. Wheelchair, this is also from hotair.com. Wheelchair-bound Maine man. Not Maine man, but man who lives in Maine, the state of Maine. Wheelchair-bound state of Maine man who shot home invader. That's right. He shot a home invader. In other words, somebody broke into this guy's house, and this guy's in a wheelchair. He's disabled. He probably has a disabled sticker on his car or van or truck or something. But this disabled guy, well, it was a physical disablement. He couldn't use his legs, but he could still use his brain and his arms, right, and his torso. So he has a gun to protect himself. He's got a shotgun. He may have more than that. But he's got a gun to protect himself. And he wheels himself around in his wheelchair. But wheelchair-bound state of Maine man who shot his home invader. Wait, folks, wait till you see what happened to this guy protecting his own home.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
The Rod Eccles Show.
(603-835-3224) is the number. Wheelchair-bound state of Maine man who shot home invader, faces eviction for owning a gun. Maine resident Harvey Lembo, Lembo, had suffered from a number of health issues which wound up landing him in a wheelchair. Then his apartment was broken into. Not once, not twice, not thrice. Those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Real Linda, that's not 3 times, but 4 times. Having had enough of being the target of criminals, Mr. Lembo went and purchased himself a handgun. Now, keep in mind, he's in a wheelchair. He's wheelchair bound. His apartment's been broken into 4 times previous. So on one September day, well, actually on the night of the very same September day that he brought his new weapon home, criminals broke into his house for a 5th time. Broke in for the 5th time. Now, I don't know about you, but this guy actually had some restraint, and you'll see in just a second as I continue with the story. But if my domicile, my place of residence, had been broken into 4 times prior, and now I'm at home in a wheelchair, and somebody's breaking in for a 5th time, oh, hell no. I ain't going to show any restraint. I'm just going to start opening fire. I'm just going to go blam, 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 blam. You know, and if you got hit, you got hit. If you got out alive, you're lucky. I don't know. Look, I've had my car broken into before, and a radio pulled out of the dash and stolen. I know what that kind of violation of your personal space feels like. Now, before you feel all sad, trust me, the criminals are the ones that got the shock. Because the only thing that worked in that radio was the tape deck. The radio didn't work. No, it didn't work. It was a Hyundai, by the way. I'm not going to say when. It was a long time ago. It didn't work. But the radio part didn't. Only the tape deck worked. And the speakers were off. but that was due to the radio. So I couldn't tune in. only the. In fact, I had a CD player, and I connected that portable CD, that Discman, connected that to the tape things. Because you put in that tape, the cassette tape. Cassette tape adapter. You put that. It was a cassette tape, basically that you plugged your Walkman, your Discman into, and you put that into the tape. That's how I played music. I played it off CDs that I was making because the radio didn't work. But no, they didn't take the Discman because the Discman I had put in the glove box. They didn't bother to check the glove box because they would have had a Discman at least too. Back then, they were a little bit more pricey than they obviously are today. But no, they broke the lock. Wasn't hard to do. I mean, they damaged that door. Couldn't be locked again after them. But hey, But they stole the radio out of the dash. Didn't really. I don't know how they did it because they really didn't damage the dash at all. Dashboard. It just pulled it. But now at first, I was ticked. I was pissed off. I could not believe the door was locked. They jimmied for whatever reason. They picked this little car amongst all these other cars. Probably because they thought it was easy to break into, and it was. They jimmied the lock, broke the lock, and then took the broken radio. I was mad for all about 30 seconds, and then I realized, wait. They're going to go try to fence this radio that didn't work. I hope they have fast feet. Because whoever they try to fence this off to and they find out this doesn't work, they better be running. So I quickly went from being upset and feeling violated to laughing. There was a guy, because I was parked on the street, right behind the Boston Public Library. So if you know the area, the Boston Public Library is in the Back Bay, and I was on the back side of the Boston Public Library. Now, across the street from where I was parked is a parking lot that you pay to park in. Now, you got to pay to park on the street, but I didn't need to pay the ridiculous price that was in the lot. Not that it really mattered, because they don't pay attention anyway. But there was a guy outside of the library in the back door. He was smoking. I start cracking up. So, I'm walking around my car, looking at the rest of it, seeing everything else, and I'm laughing my butt off. And the guy was obviously on a cigarette break, couldn't contain himself. He goes, he comes over, he goes, you okay? Everything okay? He says, I don't know whether or not you're okay or not because, you're checking out your car and did somebody hit your car? And I'm like, no. And I explained it real briefly. Somebody broke into the car. I can see here on the passenger side, because the passenger side was against the sidewalk, not the street. Passenger side lock. The lock doesn't, I can open and close the door, but I can't lock it now. See? It won't lock. They broke the lock, and they stole my radio. And he goes, oh my good, should we call the cops? I'm like, no. And I explained to him, joke's on them. They stole a broken radio. And so basically what they left me was an opening in the dashboard that day, because I had my Discman that they did not take because they didn't go in the glove box. So I had my Discman. Now I needed speakers, right? So I can still play the Discman. I was battery operated. I don't think I didn't have an adapter to plug into the cigarette lighter, which by the way also didn't work. So I got a stack of batteries, not rechargeable, unfortunately, but I got a stack of batteries. And I went to Best Buy, not Best Buy, but Lechmere. I went to a store. It doesn't exist anymore. Lechmere has long since gone out of business. But, Best Buy was one of their biggest competitors, and Lechmere was one of the Best Buy's biggest competitors. So I went to Lechmere and bought, at the time, I spent $80 on these speakers that you plug your Discman into. So I spent, about $80. I think it's pretty expensive for those. Spent $80 on these speakers that you plug your Discman into. And I put the speakers up in the car, put the Discman where the radio used to be, because now it's a big enough open spot. It was just empty. So I put the Discman there, and I was able to play anything I wanted to play. And on occasion, I used to have this big boom box that had an 8-track tape to it. I mean, it was old. And sometimes I'd bring that into the car so I could listen to the radio, so I could listen to AM, because I often like to listen to Rush. And I could take those speakers and plug it into that boom box, which sat in the seat next to me. Now, the funny thing is that because I was able to get the door locked finally, but who's going to want an old 8-track? It was a dual cassette with an 8-track tape player, and somebody sees the 8-track tape hole. Who's going to steal that? They're going to laugh at that. But so I ended up with actually a better system, because they took out the radio, and I didn't even replace the radio. All I did was go out and spend money on speakers and use everything else I already had in this old Hyundai, which was later totaled by a plow blade on a pickup truck about a year later. So it's a good thing I didn't spend any money. But anyway, but this poor guy, at the library was like, well, this something's wrong here. This guy's a nut. He's laughing about having his radio stolen. But look, I understand how a person can feel when they have somebody break into their space and take stuff that they worked hard to get. So this guy in Maine goes out and buys a gun. He's disabled. And this is what he said. He says, Mr. Lembo says, I had the gun under my pillow. I reached out and I cocked it. He said, I got in my wheelchair, and then he confronted the alleged intruder in his home, rifling through his prescription medication, and held him at gunpoint. Mr. Lembo said, I screamed at him to stop, and I told him to sit on the coffee table or I'd blow his brains out. Mr. Lembo said, I still had the gun in my hand, and I'm trying to dial 911 with the gun in my hand. But while Lembo was on the phone, the man jumped up and ran. That's when I shot him. Yes, I shot just like that. Because you don't know where he's going. I just, look, the first thing I would have did was, I wouldn't even have said freeze. I would have just started blowing, pressing bullets into his backside. Going to my house like that for a 5th time? Now, he's Mr. Lembo, L-E-M-B-O, Lembo, not Limbaugh, Lembo, is a disabled former lobsterman. And he shot an intruder after buying a gun to defend himself, sued his landlord earlier this week over a policy that prohibits him from keeping a gun in his subsidized apartment. Harvey Lembo, who uses a motorized wheelchair, was warned by his property management company that tenants are prohibited from having firearms after he shot an alleged burglar in the shoulder after 5 break-ins. And so the landlord, obviously, who's obviously not protecting the tenants of this place, because this guy's just broken in for the 5th time, and it's easy to find that out because he's reported all the burglaries. So there's a police record. Cops aren't charging him. No, hey. In fact, they traced they tracked the burglar down and arrested him. Lucky to be alive. But now the landlord wants to evict him because he's got a gun to protect himself after being broken in to his house, his apartment 5 times. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? Hell, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be suing the landlord over being evicted or trying to be evicted. I'd be suing him for lack of security. Hey, you don't have any security in this place, and I've been broken in 5 times now. Where's your security? Why don't you have security? That's what Mr. Lembo should be suing him for. Well, he's also got the right to sue for keeping his gun. Lord knows he may need that gun if they start. Well, Maine, the state of Maine, has one of those governors that doesn't want to accept any of those so-called Middle Eastern refugees in their state. Lucky about that. He's got one of those governors. Yeah, he's got a governor that doesn't want any of those refugees coming up there. Going into Maine, down east, don't you know? But he may need it because, we still have, there's only 28 states are saying, well, that leaves, that's not even all the Republican go, because all the Republicans, some of them are saying, okay, we'll let them in. That would have been the first thing. First thing I would have said, well, you ain't dropping them off in my state. But I would even, I agree with Chris Christie. I would even go and say is what Chris Christie said. Chris Christie said, yes, we should also ban Syrian refugees who are orphans under the age of 5. Because God knows that you think that they're an orphan, and then all of a sudden, much like all of these Latino kids that were brought in, a lot of these kids are orphans. They don't have anybody. And lo and behold, what is it, like 82,000 of them are placed in in many of the states across the country. And lo and behold, we find out they have relatives who are coming to claim them and are going to get to stay here. So these orphan kids under the age of 5, all of a sudden, we're going to find out they have living relatives. Maybe not mom and dad, but aunt and uncle, grandma and grandpa, or second cousin 3 times removed or something like that. And next thing we know, we're going to let in that family just so they can take care of the toddler. Because, what the government's going to say, well, if we let this family member in, then government isn't going to have to take care of that kid. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to save some money. You know what I'm saying? And what's going to happen is we're still going to end up taking care of them anyway. And we're going to be letting in some terrorists. God knows how many. So, no, I'm with Christie on this one. I don't care if you're 5 years old or younger. You don't get to come in. Well, Ron, that's cruel. No, it's not cruel. It's doing what you have to do to keep your own neighborhoods, your own citizens safe. That is my if I'm the president of the United States, that is my priority. My priority is not laying down for the UN. It is not capitulating to Angela Merkel or anybody else on the planet. It is to protect the citizens of the United States of America. And if that means that I have to refuse entry into this country of a 5-year-old from that region, then that's what I have to do. And I would not feel bad about it, because I don't feel bad about saying no entry. You want to say that's not compassionate, right? Yes, it is, because I'm protecting the American 5-year-old from the adults that other refugee 5-year-old is going to bring into the country. First and foremost, you can call me cruel or mean all you want to. I don't care. Because my first obligation is to the people, the citizenry of this country. Plain and simple. Once I am convinced, or I can be convinced, that we can securely bring in certain types of people from other lands, then I would let them in. Until that point, no, I would lock them out. Plain and simple. Not being cruel. It is not being uncompassionate, if you will. Being very compassionate because I'm caring about the citizens of this country first. Look, we've already had people that were refugees. The Boston bombers. Who was that guy down in the attacker down in Texas at that one the cartoon thing? Wasn't he a refugee too? But I know that the Tsarnaev brothers were refugees, and they were kids when they were refugees when they came into this country. And look what they did. Look at the damage that they did in Boston. So you want to tell me you want to let in other refugees who have the same historical family backgrounds as the Tsarnaevs do? Basically, that's it. Look at that. Look at the Boston bombing. These kids that we're talking about, well, they're only 5 and 6 and 3 and 12. They have the same family background and same family values as the Tsarnaev boys did when they came into this country. They were just little boys, and they grew up with that family here, and they were indoctrinated, and then they were trained, and then they went on a mission. You want to call it a lone wolf mission? No, the Boston bombing was not a lone wolf mission. You cannot convince me of that because it was too sophisticated, it was too coordinated, and it was only 2 of them. I think there was more than 2. Trust me. We're just, our wonderful government trying to cover some of this up, saying, oh, it's only 2 because, these other people that knew about it, they weren't involved. No, they were involved. They helped them plan it. They helped pay for it. This was not a lone wolf attack. And don't tell me that, that's not going to happen again because they're going to bring in these kids, 3, 4, 5, 12 years old, that they're not going to be indoctrinated like the Tsarnaev brothers were. And then at some point in the near future, commit another horrific terrorist act on American soil, killing and maiming American citizens. I'm not going to allow that to happen. As president or as congressman or a senator, no, they have to stay out. That is not being incompassionate. That's protecting my own. Because we already know from hey, look, hey, we can vet them, Rod. We can vet these people. What was the name of that major down in Texas that killed all those people on a military base? He was also in the military. Oh, he was wonderfully vetted to get the job that he got, right? And he still popped off, killed some servicemen, wounded some others, and what? He's still alive? No, but he was vetted. No, folks. No, you can't vet them. We don't know anything about them. We don't have records. They don't have records. They don't have the kind of records we need to vet these people. You go through a bigger background check, a more thorough background check for you to buy a gun than a citizen or a warrior or a terrorist coming from the Middle East goes through to get into this country. Now, how backwards is that? I'm not kidding you. Sorry, no, I am not incompassionate. I care about the citizens of this country first. I care about my fellow Americans first. When their safety is secured, then I will consider bringing in others. Till then, honey, I'd be locking down the borders, pulling up the sidewalks, drawing in the gangplanks, rolling up the airport runways. No, nobody gets in until I can be sure that they are safe. Oh, we're out of time for tonight. Thanks for joining me here tonight. Hopefully we'll get a new mic pretty soon. Till then, be back here tomorrow. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. And of course, I'm out. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network, compelling and entertaining talk.
Don't touch that dial.